What a shock! What a shocker! Can you hear me out there, people? Eli, is that you, mate?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Good on you, mate. So you're all good there, mate?
No, okay. Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah,
I can hear
we're
myself.
getting on top of it, mate. Each week we're getting slowly better. Last week's night off might have helped. Bit of a hangover from the World Cup, I believe, mate. And what a World Cup! But how you been?
Yeah, not too bad, man.
Yeah.
But I had a bit of a flu last week. Just getting over it.
Yeah, I think I've had it for about 14 years, mate.
Yeah. It's going on.
Well, you didn't have a flu in the weekend when I saw you playing football. I went just a bit of an intro for this, people. I went down to the park. What was the name of the park? You played it down in Carterton. Beautiful pitch.
Howard Booth.
Howard Booth.
You need to roll.
It needs a roll, maybe, and it was a bit of a draft going through there. I was a bit cold.
Yeah.
But I went down there with a friend to watch you play, and obviously the skill on display was pretty much second to nothing that I've seen in New Zealand, mate. So, and then I saw you notch one. I saw you nearly cop a headbutt from one of your own players, and then
Yeah. It was an interesting game. Yeah.
referee sent off one of their players for I don't know what
Dissent.
was it.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Oh, he's a bit lippy to refs, that guy, and he sort of chose the wrong ref to be lippy to, I think, and because he's a good ref, that guy, and I'm not sure of what his real name is, but his nickname's Tubbs, and decent ref, knows what he's doing. That's
I'm sure the listeners can understand why it's called Tubbs, mate.
No, he's a bloody good chap. I think he's been around here for a number of years, but I think he might be from Wairarapa, but he's definitely a cut above a lot of the other refs you get out here.
Well, I just thought. I know that you've given me the option to come and have a game with you, but the appeal is not there, mate, at the age of 48 at the moment, unless I lose some kilos before next season starts.
Yeah, well, you could
good motivator.
Could do that, man.
Yeah, but I loved watching. It was a lot of fun, and I saw you score a great goal before half time, and then when I went away, I believe you scored a couple more.
Yeah, I got a couple of wind-assisted goals in the second half. It was not too bad. I hit one from about 30 yards out, and it just sailed over the keeper's head. It was just, I knew I had the win, so I just thought I'd have a crack and hit it all right. Yeah. And then the third one, I sort of felt a bit sorry for the keeper because I had that wind, but I also had the sun.
Oh yeah.
And I think he lost it in the sun, and then he thought it was travelling a bit faster than it was, and it sort of dipped down and bounced. Oh. And then our striker ran and looked like he was going to kick it, and it sort of freaked the keeper out, and then it sort of just bounced past him into the goal. Yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare. He didn't have the best second half, that keeper.
Yeah, well, he looked all right in the first half, I thought.
Yeah, no, he did all right. He made a howler for the goal that actually probably won us the game. But it was a back pass he got would put him under too much pressure. It wasn't like a back pass that you want to receive as a goalkeeper, I don't think.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but it was a fun game. We got a bit of revenge on them because we've had some good tussles with them this year.
Yeah, well, you got smashed by them a couple of weeks back, didn't you?
No, it wasn't them. It was this other team. Okay. Yeah.
One thing I must admit, and I'll comment on, is the standard of pitches that you're playing on these days is much, much better than back in my day, you know?
Yeah, no, they are definitely good. Quite a lot of good pitches around. One thing about playing in New Zealand I've noticed since I got back here is that you wouldn't believe how good the pitches are compared to the ones you play on sometimes in Melbourne. Even in the state league I was playing in, man, some of the pitch was just dust bowls, and they were like rock hard because of the summer.
Yep.
And then they'd get you'd get a bit of rain, and then it'd just be a nightmare. It'd be slippery and
mud baths. Right?
Yeah, the grass would disappear, and yeah.
I'm used to that. I'm playing goal.
No, it was the pitches are good. They need to probably roll that one, and they could take another centimetre of grass off it, and then it'd actually be a nice playing surface. But I don't think Carterton Council really know what they're doing when it comes to football pitches, like a lot of councils around New Zealand.
Name of the ground again?
Howard Booth Park.
Howard Booth. Are you playing at home this weekend?
No, we're at a Masterton, Helena Park. Playing.
Helena Park. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, we're playing there, I think, second or third team in some playoff bowl. It's called the bowl playoff or something. Yep. It's some sort of knock-off of the cup. If you get knocked out of the cup, you end up in this other thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's still good to have another couple of games.
Well, get down to Booth Park in a couple of weeks, people. I'll be there. And,
we're having the Wairarapa finals are down there in a couple of weeks, so it's a good day. They have a barbecue on, and the bar's open, and There's about 3 or 4 games on or something. Yeah, so
Good.
Yeah, good day of football.
I must admit, I did have a bit of a chat with some of your cahoots, or some of your teammates that you're at cahoots with, and interesting characters, good lads, good lads.
Yeah, they're a funny group.
Yeah, definitely a few characters in that lot, mate. So, but I'm sure there's never a dull moment in the change rooms or on a bus trip to an away game if you ever have to travel. You'd have a bit of fun with those boys coming home. That's for sure.
Good laughs. Yeah.
Moving along, we're gonna start. Obviously, we're gonna play some music tonight. We're gonna look at a bit of the what's going on in New Zealand football, and it's not going to be a lot because we are in between seasons. We've just appointed a new. Well, we're just in the process of getting our shop in order, I suppose, with as far as the running of the national game here.
Yeah.
And then we'll look at a couple of the transfer options. What's been talked up lately, and I did read something about the Olivier Giroud. Giroud, yeah. Who's going to be shaving his hair off to give himself a bald head. He's one of the best looking men who ever played football, I think, and his wife just had a little son, and she's encouraging him to cut his hair off. And, And the goalkeeper, Hugo Lloris is offering to do it, which us goalkeepers love to do, is help out, mate. And he'd absolutely butcher it, I'd say. I would, if I got the opportunity to. But so we'll talk a bit more about that sort of stuff. First of all, though, I wanted to say, Gemma Lewis. Have you heard of the name?
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah.
Yep. Well, she's 28 years old. She's off to this under-20s women's team as the assistant coach, I think, for the New Zealand team. It's World Cup in France that she's going to, and she's been handpicked by FIFA to be part of an elite coach mentorship program.
Oh wow, that's awesome!
Oh, isn't it, for a lady from New Zealand? I think that's something that gives huge kudos to the highly regarded New Zealand football education program, which is a pathway for up-and-coming coaches to get on their pathway to greater things. And I think good luck to her. So Gemma, we'll be listening into we'll be reading up on what transpires in the future, and we'll be reporting into our listeners, obviously. What do you think about the women's game in New Zealand?
Yeah, no, it's come along really well. I thought over the last few years, besides obviously what happened earlier this year with what's his name.
Yep.
I would remember it sort of. I remember back when I was a kid in Hawke's Bay, there was quite a strong women's league there at that point, and it was really coming along quite well. And then I think it sort of went into a bit of a sort of a limbo for a while. Well, it seemed to. I'm not 100% sure if that's true or not, but it seemed. I mean, from what I observed, it seemed to sort of drop off a bit. But then it's sort of, I think it's come back around there, and it's also come back around in other parts of New Zealand, particularly in Wellington. There's a really strong league here now, and the local team, the Wairarapa United women, are actually one of the strongest sides around the region, and are doing pretty well. They've got a lot of young players coming through out here as well. There's a couple who I think are in the junior All Whites, maybe.
Paul Eiffel's coaching that team, isn't he?
Which one's? Oh,
for the women's team for Wairarapa United.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought there was someone else earlier this year, but maybe. Yeah, I had actually heard someone say on the weekend maybe that he was taking that team. Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe he's playing for the. I mean, I've been known to coach the keepers, but I think he's playing for the Wairarapa United men's team and coaching the women's team, which he's pretty into.
Yeah.
And I think Phil Kinsley, looks after him as well. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the New Zealand women's football has been in a lot better shape than the men's game for a long, long time, and I just think it would be nice to see that people like obviously this Gemma coming through now, but people like Wendy Henderson, who works in Wellington, and I sort of watched her grow up, same age as me, and might be a couple of years older than, but she was a fantastic player at a young age and used to play with all the boys.
Yeah.
And then she became part of the women's team at Miramar, and then I think she went up to Upper Hutt when they had a bit of a fallout. So all the women went from Miramar up to Upper Hutt, and then they've gone somewhere else. But there's a lot of good women players and administrators, I think, and I just think they've got to be supportive in the cause.
Yeah, well, I have a friend from Hawke's Bay who I played with at Masonvale, and he's pretty well known around there, and he's sort of known around New Zealand. Leon Burney, who's done some good work with
great guy,
one of the women's teams. It was maybe the under 23s possibly, or under
20s, I think.
Under 20s, yeah, and he actually took them to a World Champs or something, or World Cup maybe. Yeah, a couple of years back, and they did really quite well. And I know that he's quite well regarded within the coaching setup these days. I couldn't tell. I don't actually know who he's coaching at the moment. I know that he's still based in Hawke's Bay, and he does a lot of work there for Central Football. But good chap, good coach.
He took the mickey out of me. We played when I was at the Kings, and we played Napier in a pre-season game, and Mark Paston was in goal for them. This was when Mark was, still just at Napier.
Yeah, I remember. I used to play against Mark at schoolboys. Yeah. Hard guy to get a goal against.
Oh, yeah. But Leon, they got a penalty, and he came up and did the penna kick, when you just...
Panenka.
Yeah. Is that, what do you call it?
Panenka.
Yeah, I never knew there was a name for it until just the other day I read it, and I think...
what, did he score it?
Oh, yeah, I dived.
Oh, you dived out of the way?
Yeah, I dived. I was on my bum, mate, before the ball even got to the lines. And I'm just looking at him laughing, but we were 7 up. So, but still, it's like, damn, he got the better of me, And,
that Panenka is named after the Czech player who did it to win the penalty shootout in I think 1972 or 19... Might have been 76. It was the Euro, and they beat Germany.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And he did it to win. He actually...
Was that to win it?
Yeah, that was to win it. Yeah, that's how...
Sorry, people.
That's how ballsy he was.
Bear with me. That is huge balls, mate.
Yeah.
That is huge. I mean, Zinedine Zidane, when he hit the crossbar, with the one that he scored against Italy, I think it was. I mean, that was like...
World Cup final.
Yeah. And he sort of checked afterwards because he didn't know whether it had gone in. He wasn't 100% sure, but... Yeah, you've got to be pretty confident to do that, mate, in front of a big crowd.
Oh, you see them go wrong sometimes, and the keeper just stands there and catches it and laughs at them.
Well, Glenn Moss did that last week, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
Glenn Moss did that playing for his club in Australia in one of these Asian championships.
I did see that. Yeah, that's right.
And he's just...
who was it who did it? It was...
it was an Aussie lad, isn't it? Who's just come back.
Quite notable player. Yeah.
I can't remember his name, so I'm not going to try to comment on his name. But, he tried to... take the mickey out of him, we could say something else, but I mean, and Mossy just laughed at him and gave him a tap on the head and said, "Thanks for coming, son, I'll see you later." But no, all good. Moving along, we've got a bit of music today as well, haven't we? And you've hit me with this. What is this one you're telling me about, mate? It's
it's a bit of Blur. I mean,
I love Blur.
I was going to suggest some Norwegian black metal, which I'm quite a fan of as well, but I don't know if some of the listeners would be that keen on it. But this is a good track though. Yeah. It's off the self-titled Blur album that was released in, it might have been 1999, possibly.
Okay, and what are we playing here, mate? What is the name of the song?
It's called I'm Just a Killer for Your Love.
Let's go for it and see how we go.
Yeah. Graham Coxon, Blur guitarist there.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad that's finished. Sorry, guys, to put you through that. That was shit.
Are you serious?
I mean, I like Blur, mate, but as I was saying before...
You don't appreciate it. You've got to listen to that song again. When you're dead. It's excellent, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll put one on
give it a
next.
proper listen.
I'll put the next song on, and you can slag that one off if you feel fit. Now, moving along. What do you got to tell me, mate? Harry Maguire. No go to Man United, I believe. No go. They want 60,000 for.
Well,
60 million for him. £60 million for Harry Maguire.
Yeah, well, I did hear that Woodward was saying to Mourinho that he's just got to work with what he's got, and I don't know, maybe that's fair enough. I mean, Mourinho, if he's as good as he says he is, then he should be able to work with what he's got. I mean, he's got a reasonable sense. He's got Lindelof and Bailey and Smalling, even though he's sort of getting on a bit, and Jones, who's a bit sort of maybe accident prone, possibly. I mean, they've still got an excellent squad there, and I mean, it would be good to boost it with someone like Maguire, who's a ball playing centre back, and he can come forward, and you can see why Mourinho did want him, but these stories sometimes come out, and then then 2 days later they sign, Yeah. I mean, you can't really tell what's going to happen until that bloody deadline day comes and all the business is done.
Correct.
But I mean, apparently Mourinho's still at them to sign Perisic, and if he does sign Perisic, then Martial will probably be sold to cover that, or cover part of it anyway. And there's a few things happening there. I thought the Shaqiri transfer was good business by Klopp and Liverpool. He's
Well, wait, before we move to that, just one moment. Mourinho said he wants at least 2 more signings. Okay.
Yeah.
He signed Fred.
Yeah, Fred's a good signing.
Yeah, good signing. He signed that
Dalot.
Dalot.
Diogo Dalot.
Where's he from?
He's from Portugal. I think
Portuguese?
Maybe Porto he'd been playing for.
Okay.
But he'd only played a few games last season, so he's pretty untested. But Mourinho's he's Portuguese, so he's probably had guys who have gone, get this guy,
Of course.
And there's a lot of people already going, who's a bit of an unknown. But I mean, it's not like Mourinho's going to sign some,
clown.
Yeah, it's not like it's Bebe or something,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, mate. Lee Grant.
Yeah, Lee Grant, good keeper.
Yep.
I always thought he was a good keeper when he's at Stoke, wasn't he?
Yeah, was at Stoke.
Yeah, no, I thought, but he just he was unlucky that there were people higher up the order. But when he did play, you could tell that he knew his stuff.
Yeah, solid.
And he's looked all right. I mean, even if he did concede 4 the other day against Liverpool, it wasn't like they were his fault. The 2 penalties were. I thought the Salah one was a joke of a penalty. Actually, he just fell over.
Yeah, I know.
And it was like, is that a penalty, mate? And it was like, and then they're like, I was reading a match report, and they were like, and Mourinho for some reason went over to the ref and remonstrated about the penalty, and it's like, well, I would too, mate. It wasn't a penalty. It's like Salah's just bloody, he blew him. He sneezed and he fell over.
Strong wind and he fell over.
Oh my goodness! And then the other one, you could sort of see maybe there was a little bit of contact, but again, he just fell over, and it was like 2 of those. I mean, fair play to Liverpool; they got 2 good goals, but I don't know about the other. Even the one that Sturridge got, it was like pretty poor defending. The guy let it go through his legs, I think.
Yep. And saying that, though, my friend, you don't want to lose 4-1 to Liverpool, do you? Even though it is Champions Cup, just to lose 4-1 to Liverpool is not good.
But I mean, it is. I mean, honestly, these pre-season tournaments are a joke, really. I mean, I don't know. There's United have got nothing like the starting lineup they're going to have, and Liverpool had a few players that were rested, and senior players back, and maybe they played some young guys as well, but it wasn't like United had a really, really decent side out there.
I mean, I think they've got players who have been to the World Cup who are still on holiday, obviously.
Yeah.
Just another one then.
But it's always. I mean, Liverpool. All the Liverpool fans on the online things are all like, "Oh yeah, this is our year," and all this, like they always do, mate. And then they're not going to win again. And
they did that 80 years ago.
Yeah,
mate.
what are they going to do? They've never won the Premier League. Like the last one, they won the old First Division. That's the last time they won it. And when was that?
That's when Grobbelaar, my mate, was playing for them. Mate.
This
was in the 80s.
Man. It's a long time ago.
We're talking 25 years ago. A long time ago.
Yeah, no.
What about this guy? You'd know a bit more about him than I do. This 23-year-old from Barcelona, this I think he's from Colombia. Yeri Mina.
Oh, Yuri Mina, the centre back. Yeah, he actually scored against England in the in that round of 16. Yeah, he got the header. He's a handy player.
Oh, did he score the header? Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I don't think he's been playing that much at Barcelona, which is a hard team to break into. But I mean,
23-year-old is a young lad,
But yeah, I mean, at the same time, I'd be surprised. I mean, I'd be odd if Barcelona would have let him go. Looking at Piqué's sort of on. I mean, how much longer is he going to last? Why would you sell someone who's obviously a good centre back, who's capable of scoring goals with his head?
Because he wants to play.
Yeah, well, he wants to play, but I mean, is Piqué really going to play every match this season?
Well, I remember when Piqué was young, and was it Piqué that was at Man United?
Yeah, United, yeah.
And he left because he was never going to get in over Vidic and Ferdinand, was he?
Yeah.
And he was just never going to get in with that. They had a pretty good.
I was a bit disappointed when he went to Barcelona. I thought he was going to come along well, and he did.
Good player.
People unfairly criticise him sometimes for when.
What did they criticise him?
Oh, I've just seen. There's a lot of stuff. I go on the Guardian message boards quite a bit, and there's a lot of criticism of him there. But just when Barcelona lose, like the one time they do per season, pretty much. So, that was Piqué's fault. And it's like, how was that Piqué's fault, man?
Yeah, Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's like top players, they do everything right most of the time, and they make one mistake, and everyone's like, "Oh, they're bloody useless," It's like, you can't win.
We've got so 35 million. They reckon they might be paying for this Yeri Mina.
I did hear that the rumor that they were looking at buying him, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just is the board willing to give more money to Mourinho after the big transfers that have been made? Maybe they're going, right, you've got your squad, work it out now, mate. And but he's sort of pushing for more players. And
is this his third year at the helm at the top for Man United?
Third year at United. Apparently, third year is
year, isn't it? Yeah.
Third year is his bad year at all his other clubs. At Chelsea first time round, and then Inter, and then Madrid, and then Chelsea second time round. Oh, Chelsea second time round, it was second year, wasn't it?
Yeah, he gets found out, doesn't he? And then I
don't know if he gets found out. I just think he he just sort of loses the plot a bit.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubting the guy's a bloody good manager, but I mean, it's just it's funny to see what's happened to him over the years after, from where he came, where he was like assistant to Bobby Robson and so on, and then he went to Porto and he won the Champions League with like a team of like pretty much unknown players. There were a couple of big names in there, but I mean, but no one. I mean, they went to Old Trafford and beat United, and then that's where he did that slide on the turf, and became really famous. But that was amazing what he did there at Porto, and then he came to England and he took Ranieri's team and won the league straight away. It wasn't even his team really, So I mean, people criticise him a lot now, and I mean, you maybe sometimes you can say, like the FA Cup final, not really. I wasn't that impressed with the performance, but at the same time, Conte had set up the way they were both playing just to defend, sort of in a way, both those managers in that final, and get the one and sneak that one goal, and then and Hazard managed, and Phil Jones stuffed up, and Hazard scored it, but yeah, I don't know. It's a funny one. I still support Mourinho because he's the United manager, and I'd like to see him do well.
Would you have him as your manager over Alex Ferguson?
No way, man.
No,
what do you mean?
He doesn't come close.
Ferguson's. No, he's not going to. There's no way.
High five to that one, mate. That's for sure. He's the king, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
he is the king. Well, it's quite interesting if you look at what Mourinho is doing now, with the money that he's got at his disposal, and still struggling.
Well, I mean, it's relative though. I mean, they still were runners up, and and people talk about the points gap, but all the other teams were even more back. It's not like United did have a few hiccups, and they probably didn't play as well as they could have, but they had a reasonable season. But City were just on another planet, mate. They were just too good.
They were miles apart.
Oh yeah, and then And then, they lost the FA Cup final. They disappointingly went out of Europe. That was a bit soft. But, realistically, as far as the board's concerned, he's fulfilling the brief, I think, which is United have to be in the Champions League spots, and they are again. And he's made the cup final, was unlucky to lose it. I mean, this season, it's not, people are talking about him getting sacked 6 games in. It's just that's not going to happen.
No.
I mean, he'll get. I mean, on the odd chance that he would get sacked, he's going to get half a season. And, with the team he's got and the nous he's got, they're going to be there or thereabouts come Christmas, And all these sort of people saying that United are going to be down the table, I don't know what they're talking about, really. I mean, it's not like they've suddenly lost all their players, is it? They've still got the same team as last year, plus 2 extra newer players who are going to want to fight. Like, Fred's going to really improve the team once he gets used to English football, and he's going to improve that competition for places. Matic is still there, and he's still in his prime. They've still got an excellent side. So, but yeah, enough about United.
Yeah, mate.
We could talk about them the whole time, actually.
We could.
I don't think everyone else would like that, though.
No. Well, half of the supporters in New Zealand. What about Chelsea? I think they're William and the keeper. What's the keeper's name there? Courtois. They're looking to maybe go to Real Madrid now that Real Madrid's missed out on, De Gea.
Yeah, well, maybe Hazard as well. Was they were talking about. Yeah, he's quite keen on Madrid apparently.
Yeah, I saw
that.
But
Chelsea apparently don't want to let him go. Like Sarri has said, I think he would prefer to keep Willian and Hazard, but I think they've already. They've sort of resigned to the fact that Courtois is probably going to leave.
Yeah,
I think so. I read that somewhere, and Murata apparently there was a rumor that he's going to go he wants to go back to Italy.
Really?
Well, I mean, so they say, and Milan are apparently willing to pay some money for him, but they might not be able to match what Chelsea want.
Did you rate him?
Murata?
Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely a good striker, man. I don't know really.
He didn't start well though, did he? When he arrived?
Well, no, I mean, I'd seen him play previously in Spain and Italy, and he's quality, but some of these players, it's just such a different style in the Premier League. I think it's fast and more physical, and more, that's what a lot of the players say. They say the physicality is one thing that some players from the continent can't get used to.
Yep.
Or they don't get used to it fast enough, and by the time they've finally got used to it, they're out of the team, and then they don't get a second chance, But then there's some players who just come in and just nail it and just, do really well.
I mean, it's a whole atmosphere you've got to fit into, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you look at Salah, and he came first time and he couldn't get used to it, and then he went away and then he came back again, and then he just killed it. And,
Got a story for you. When I was over in South Africa playing, there was a guy called Patrick Mayo. He's from the Free State, which is like in the sort of wops, in the bush.
Oh, yeah. Orange Free State.
Yeah, Orange Free State, yeah. Black guy and lovely guy. We're good friends, and he and his wife and little kids, we used to go out for dinner quite a lot because he's living in the same apartment block as I.
Oh, yeah, cool, yeah.
And then he got a Lokomotiv Moscow, wanted to sign him in Russia.
No way.
Big money, for an African boy. And so, I was actually, we dropped him off at the airport, and I came with him and his wife and his son.
And they went with him?
What's that? No. He stayed here. He was going over there for 2 weeks just to see if he liked it.
Oh, okay.
And then he'd come back, or they would come over and after he'd signed him by South Africa basically. And so I said goodbye to him at the airport, and he went over there, and then I went to training the next morning, and then 3 days. Or no, it was probably about 4 days later, 4 or 5 days later, he came to training. He was at training one morning.
Yeah.
And I said to him, Patrick, what are you doing? And a great athlete, this guy. Big, tall, and just strong, like a Nigerian type athlete, just beast. And I said, what happened? And I said, did you bum out, mate? And he goes, oh, Kiwi, I went over there and I played a game after 2 days. I was there in 2 days and played a game and scored 3 goals, and they took me off at half time. And I said, why? And they said, I got 3 goals before half-time, winning 3-0, and I asked them to take me off. And they took me off. I went to the changing rooms, had a shower, sat in there for about 20 minutes, got my clothes on and caught the taxi back to my hotel. and then organised my flight home. It was too cold. He said he hated it.
Yeah.
Mate, just from Africa to Russia,
man,
he just
freezing.
He said, and it's not about money for him, for those players. It was about the love and being around people they care for and family, and and he had everything in South Africa. So why go overseas? He would have liked to have gone to a better, higher standard of football, but not to the extent that his wife and kid are inside all the time, and he's freezing.
No, I heard
off.
a crazy story similar to that where there was a Tongan rugby player, I think, and he ended up somewhere like Romania or something.
Ooh.
And he ended up getting kidney disease or something, but he was just talking about how he would play rugby and then he would just go home and he'd just be in his flat and he just didn't like the place, but he was there and he just signed onto this contract and he had to stay there and
not fun.
Yeah. But you do get a bit of that. You sort of imagine some of these players who go from, say, South America and things like that and end up in Middlesbrough or somewhere. No. But, not to knock Middlesbrough. I've got a good friend from there, and I've never actually visited the place myself. I went near it.
Middlesbrough's
and it looked nice enough.
Beautiful part of the country,
looked
mate.
Nice enough. But compared to somewhere like, if you grew up in Rio and then, you're somewhere like in the Midlands of England and
you womble.
It's the middle of winter or something,
Well, on that note, mate, we're gonna play an old song. It's an oldie.
It's like ending up in Dunedin or something and you're from Rio.
Mate, I'm getting you off this before you get slaughtered and the phone calls come in. Hopefully people don't remember the phone number. But
no one does.
Here's a song which represents you at this stage, mate. Enjoy.
Oh, all right.
Underground, overground, wombling free. The wombles of Wimbledon, common are we, making good use of the things that we find, things that the everyday folks leave behind. People don't notice us, they never see. Under their noses our womble may be. We womble by night and we womble by day, looking for litter to trundle away.
So we're back, mate. I missed the intro. Going to the toilet.
Well, you've just put something else on, man.
Oh, really? That's Cat Groove by Pablo Stella. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Well, I'm going to play it.
It sounded
funky.
Garbage. Sounded like garbage.
As good as your Blur song, mate.
Sounded worse, 10 times worse than Blur, mate.
Wasn't nowhere near as bad as your Blur effort.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what I was talking about earlier, Shaqiri, and even though Gary Neville's did you hear about Neville when he's come out and he's criticised the Shaqiri's behaviour at Stoke last season and so on? But
mate,
but the funny thing about Neville is that deep down he hates Liverpool, doesn't he? He absolutely hates Liverpool. He's like and so you've always got to take what he says about any Liverpool player or team. I mean, he has come out. Like last season, he did come out a couple of times. He said, look, these guys are playing really good football. They're doing really well. Klopp's doing well. So, I mean, he is happy to say it, but it was funny to see Shaqiri do so well after Neville had panned him. And then the thing about Shaqiri is that, they got him for £13 million, and then you see like West Ham have bought this guy, Felipe Anderson from Lazio for, 35 mil, like double that. And Anderson's untested in the Premier League. Shaqiri's been in the Premier League a couple of seasons now, 3 seasons maybe, and he's done pretty well, really. I mean, he was at Stoke, and he's not surrounded by the caliber of players he was at Munich or Inter, or but he still was a cut above the rest, and he's got that special something. He pulls crazy goals out of the hat, and his trophies are pretty impressive. That when he was at Munich for only 2 seasons, and he won the double twice, and the Champions League while he was there. So, and he's won three Swiss titles, 2 Swiss Cups. So he's got it. He's already got a lot of. He's a Champions League winner. So that's probably a reason that Klopp sort of was like, oh, we need this guy in the team. He's been there, done that. And last season 100%. We probably didn't have that.
Have they signed a keeper?
They've signed that Allison.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So
what's going to happen with Karius?
Well, apparently, maybe he's staying there, but he'll be second string. But I don't know.
Well, who would want to pick him up? I suppose at this stage, he's probably pretty distraught after his performance.
Well, he has been playing in this pre-season thing.
Yeah, but that's because the guys who've been playing at the World Cup are on holiday.
Yeah, but apparently, he's got. I think there's probably something in the whole concussion thing. Some people said it was a cop out, but he did get elbowed in the head by Ramos.
Mate, if you get no. I'm a pretty good judge of.
I didn't actually see the incident. Was it not that bad?
No, it was. The guy's given him a good flick, but still,
But top-level goalkeeper, he still should be able to catch the ball.
Yeah, and you don't throw the ball onto the centre forward's foot.
Yeah.
You should be you should wait. If anything else, if you're not sure, wait.
Hold the ball. Was a brain explosion.
And then the other one that was poor, the handling was, and I've let through goals. Hate to say it, I've dropped the ball like that, but that was just shocking goalkeeping, and I've done that myself.
Yeah.
As every goalkeeper has.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not good. And I just think for someone to do that in such a big game, I used to remember rating players by how they played in the big games. I didn't care if you played well against the poor teams, but it's when you're playing good games, big games, and that's when I used to judge. Are you worth the medal around your neck? Are you looking for someone else to win it for you, or do you do it yourself? And the goalkeepers, and I've seen very many pretenders to the crown who think they're something special. But when it comes to the big game, they've not seen. I remember when we played Germany with the All Whites, and I, some of the players that were good players back here, really good players back here. Obviously, you're playing Germany; it was a bit of a cut above, but didn't do very well. And some players really stood out because they were guys that really stood up to the challenge.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it was amazing.
Who did stand out?
Ryan Nelson was sort of one of those players who do that.
He would.
Shea Bunce was another one.
Cool. Yeah.
Chris Sorozic, the captain.
Yeah.
He was another one. And our goalkeeper was amazing, mate. But hey, I want to ask you a question.
Oh no, I'll tell you. There's a really funny, cool piece of news that I picked up yesterday. I was reading online, and that's Marcelo Bielsa. Have you heard of Bielsa? He's sort of like a bit of a cult manager. He's the guy.
It's not Kaiser. Kaiser, is it?
No, he's an Argentinian manager.
We'll talk about the Brazilian Kaiser in a minute as well.
And he's Guardiola's idol. He's sort of the guy that Guardiola sort of based a lot of his coaching methods on. Is this guy Bielsa? He's actually now manager of Leeds United.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So it's a bit of a left field appointment. And sort of Leeds are thinking they're going to shake things up and chuck Bielsa in there and see how he goes. But he's a funny chap because he does things his own way. And sometimes if the players don't buy into it, he just goes, right, that's it, I'm out of here, and he just leaves.
Fair enough.
which is quite funny though. But it's one of those. Be interesting to see how that goes. You'd be keep an eye on Leeds United and see what happens there. He's either going to turn them into a sort of juggernaut that are going to go up the divisions, or it's all just going to fall flat.
Well, Leeds is a sleeping giant, as we all know, and Allen Road, they're still playing there. I think it's a huge stadium. I remember when I was in Yorkshire and Mark Viduka was at Leeds, he scored 4 at Liverpool, I think, when they beat Liverpool 4-0. Lucas Radaby is an ex-South African captain. He was a Leeds captain.
Oh, yeah,
no,
I remember Leeds. Yeah, they're a big club. And they're sort of what
they were huge.
Early 70s. They had that amazing team there.
Yeah, but even in the 80s when they had like Cantona there, and in the 90s.
Yeah, they won the league.
Yep.
In 1991. I think Cantona,
why?
Yeah, was there.
Well, they sold Cantona for £1 million.
1.3.
1.3 was it?
To United. Yeah.
Which is nothing.
Yeah.
But there was. Do you know why, don't you?
Well, there was a rumour, was he having an affair with Lee Chapman's wife or something?
That's the exact same rumour I heard.
Yeah.
So not good football, but good for United. Man United.
Oh, no, when I heard the news, mate, I was over the moon. My mate came and told me, we were at school at Hastings Boys, and my mate, Martin Trowbridge, he was a Liverpool supporter, and he came over to me at lunchtime. He said, Elliot, did you hear the news? And he was like, Cantona's gone to United. I'm like, are you kidding me, mate? Yeah, I was absolutely stoked. I couldn't, because I'd seen him score this amazing bicycle kick on Match of the Day the season before, and I was like, man, who's this Cantona? And then and he did so well that season, and Leeds won that title.
Brilliant.
And then next thing you know, he's at United.
Yeah, they had to get rid of him, I think. But what I wanted to ask you. Wolves, Cardiff and Fulham. Now, we had to have a chat before that, because I hadn't even remembered who were the 3 teams that have gone up from the Champions League or Championship. So, Wolves, Cardiff and Fulham. What are the credentials behind these guys, mate? Are you rating them to compete or just stay up? Or
I think the teams that have come up in the last few seasons, there's one that normally can't do it, and then there's 2 that normally do all right.
Yep.
And I think Wolves should be, in a reasonable place, because apparently they played some really nice football last season. They've got these, I think there's a couple of Portuguese players there, or players from the continent anyway. Good footballers, and quite. They look like a capable side. But I mean, that's the thing. I suppose you don't know until 5 or 6 weeks into the season how they're going to go. But I mean, out of those, there's Fulham are a pretty decent side as well. They played a lot of good football, and they've got that young Sessegnon, who's sort of the next big thing apparently. And who's the other one again?
Fulham, Cardiff, and Wolves.
Cardiff. Cardiff have got a bit of money behind them as well. So I suppose it all depends on their transfer business in some ways, but then it also depends on keeping that squad together that came up to a certain degree. But yeah, I mean, it's a different ball game, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they're going to be. And then championships are difficult league to get out of, but then you're up there and you're taking on the likes of every other week you're playing Arsenal, Liverpool, United, or Chelsea, or
big ask.
Well, then even like the mid range like Everton and Burnley, like Burnley are in the Europa this year, and
Chris Wood, he'll be playing. Yeah,
Europa League.
That's fantastic. Is he? How is his? Do you know anything about his state of fitness or?
Yeah, I think they've already played. I think they played Aberdeen away in the Europa League, some knockout stage, but before the groups, and I think they drew 1-1
away from
possibly.
Home. That's great.
I think it was 1-1 away, and they got that away goal.
Yep.
And
that's great for the lad, isn't it?
And I'm pretty sure Wood was playing. Yeah.
And just getting Kiwi boys. Winston Reid's still struggling, isn't he, fitness-wise? He's away for a couple of months, I believe.
Yeah, well, he's had a hard time with some injuries over the last couple of years, hasn't he? But he's still highly rated at West Ham, and I think he'll be a legend at West Ham forever for scoring that winner against United in the last game at the Bowling. So they love him. They absolutely love Reid.
Well, they reckon that if he would, because he was living in Denmark, and they reckon that if he had chosen to play for Denmark over New Zealand or Whites, he would have played for Denmark. So that's a big call, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, he's a quality player. I mean, he's done really well at West Ham, and he's become like a guy that when he's fit, he's in the team. And that's the mark of a sign of quality, isn't it?
I think he's one of these.
But he's out. Yeah, he's out for 2 months.
Is it 2 months?
Yeah, and I think Carroll's out as well. Surprise, surprise. But
Andy Carroll, mate.
Yeah, then that guy's. Apparently, I did hear a rumour that he has a poor diet and doesn't really take much notice of
Drinks too
things.
much beer, mate.
Probably drinks too much beer, possibly. But why is he always injured? He's such a good player. It's
He's
like,
just a
what
big.
a waste.
He's a unit, mate. He's a unit. He's probably too big, and you know,
He's quality though. Did you remember that goal he got last season, the scissor kick?
Yeah.
Oh, that was epic. Yeah. No, he's
a good
West
player.
Ham are going to be interesting. I'm really excited to see what Pellegrini does at West Ham. I think Pellegrini was treated like garbage by City. You know, once they knew they could get Guardiola, they just pretty much just showed Pellegrini the door, and he hadn't actually done that badly there. You know, he'd won a title, and I think he'd missed out on. Did he lose the FA Cup or did he win the FA? I think he might have won the FA Cup as well. So he won 2 trophies for them, and then they were showing him the door. It's
but they're pretty harsh, aren't they? It's a big club.
Well, yeah, I mean, they wanted Guardiola, didn't they? And it sort of worked out reasonably well for them. But, I mean, Pellegrini's definitely got a point to prove, and West Ham's a club where he could probably prove a point because they've got a reasonable squad already. They've got Arnautovic, they've got Carroll and Reed who might be injured, but if they come back, and then they've signed this new Brazilian kid who's meant to be, if he can adapt to the English game, then he'll be a signing, all right, a good signing.
Yeah.
And then they've got a pretty good squad already. A couple more signings. Pellegrini knows what he's doing. He wants to play football, and I think the West Ham fans, in the large part, are pretty happy with the appointment of Pellegrini over Moyes.
Moyes is, mate. I just don't like him. Mate.
No, I like Moyes. He's all right.
Do you?
I think he's just got. I think the thing that he did well at Everton for a number of years, and then I don't think he was ready for United, and he should have probably listened to his gut a bit more, because apparently I read some interview with him where he said he almost fell off his chair when Ferguson said that he wanted him to take over from him, and it's like, if you feel like that, then maybe you shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, too big a job.
Yeah.
Too big a job.
But I mean, I've always sort of stuck up for Moyes. I thought he was brave to go over and to manage in Spain after he'd had that sort of disappointing time with United, and he did well there for a while until the next season, and things sort of wheels fell off a bit.
Yeah.
But he beat Madrid and he beat Barcelona with that team. Who was it again? Can't remember.
Mate, I can't remember. But
yeah, Moyes is actually, I mean, he's in a good spot. I mean, he kept West Ham up, and then he got the sack, so he'll get a job, or probably wonder if he might even be lining something up already.
Who's in charge at Chelsea now?
Maurizio Sarri.
What's your take on him?
Well, apparently he's managed a lot of clubs in Italy. I'm not sure about what trophies he's won. I don't know if he's won. Probably. I mean, he comes highly recommended, and he was doing. Well, where did he come from? He was at Lazio, was he?
Yep.
And he was coach of the year for Serie A. But yeah, what's he? I mean, I don't know about the honours he's won. He's won. He got Serie A Coach of the Year 2016-17, and I don't think they even won the league. So I mean, I don't think he's even won a trophy, which is funny. A funny appointment for Chelsea, really.
Yeah, it is. But we'll have to. Well, there's no more managers in the world to take on, mate. But we're going to listen to a bit of Mr. Blue Sky, and then we'll come back and we'll just say our goodbyes.
Everybody's in the place, and don't you know, it's a beautiful day. Hey, running down the avenue, see how the sun shines brightly in the city, on the streets where once was pity. Mr. Blue Sky is living in the day. Hey, Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong? Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong? Hey, you with the pretty face, welcome sky. Please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong? Hey there, Mr. Blue, it's a place to be with you. Look around, see what you do. Everybody smiles at you. Hey there, Mr. Blue, it's a place to be with you. Look around, see what you do. Everybody smiles at you. Why you had to hide away for so long? Where did we go wrong? Hey there, Mr. Blue Sky, so pleased to be with you. Sky, look around, see what you do. Everybody smiles at you.
The beautiful flowing sounds of ELO, Mr. Blue Sky.
Yeah, great
What do you
song.
think of that,
Great
mate?
band.
Great song, great band.
Big fan of ELO.
Destroyed your blur option earlier, mate. So, but that's all good. Hey, we're nearly finished. I think we've covered everything we wanted to talk to about today. And
There was one other thing I was going to
Yep.
say. Ronaldo to Juventus.
yeah, oh yes.
Yeah, big transfer. I'll tell you some interesting. Funny,
Buffon, where's he gone?
I don't know. I didn't hear where he was gone. No.
Buffon signed for carry on.
No, there was an interesting little facts from his transfer. 520,000 Juventus shirts with Ronaldo on them sold within 24 hours of the transfer announcement.
Tremendous.
And they got 1 million new Twitter followers overnight after the announcement.
Tremendous.
And then from the interviews, he seems genuinely excited. He wants to win a championship in Italy and have a crack at continuing to excel. And it sounds like from the interviews that he's like really keen to get things done there, which is good. Apparently the transfer, because they haven't come out with how much they paid, but apparently it was somewhere around 350 million euros possibly.
Wow.
But that's a rumour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just slipped me now. But where's Buffon? He's gone to Paris Saint-Germain or something, hasn't he?
Has he? I didn't know that he'd. I didn't know that he'd transferred.
He's
I knew
there
that
for
he
Juventus.
decided he was going to carry on playing.
Yeah. If you look that up, we'll have a chat. He, for me, I think he's been huge. And they've won the league like 6 or 7 times in a row, haven't they? At Juve.
So he is. He's gone to PSG.
PSG, that's huge. And he's 40 years old, wants to play a bit longer, and want to go to a beautiful place like Paris and do it. Nothing wrong with that.
It'd be interesting to see how he goes. Well, who is their current keeper?
Don't know. Well, he won't be too happy at the moment, but because even if he's better than him, he won't play because you've got to play him. You've got to play a guy like that.
Oh, Kevin Trapp is German.
Yeah.
And Alphonse Areola.
Well done. Good luck to those boys. Hey, thanks for coming in again today, my friend. It's a wonderful team we have here in the studio, and we're crushing it each week. Next week we'll talk about more transfers and what's available. One thing I did want to mention, just the New Zealand under-20 men's team. I believe there's been a few players who are not being selected to play for that because they've got conflicting interests with club football at the moment, which is a bit of a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some players aren't being released or are choosing not to play in the game.
Who's the young guy playing in Portugal?
Oh,
he's doing quite well.
Yeah.
Is it? What's his name again?
It's not Messer, is it? No, it's Anyway,
Ryan, is it? Ryan someone?
Oh yeah, Ryan. Oh yeah.
No, you
Thomas Ryan.
Oh, I can't remember. His name's totally escaped me. But
I've been chatting to these guys all week. Thomas Ryan and all that sort of stuff, and just over social media, they're doing extremely well overseas, and obviously it's at a pre-season stage there. Chris James, we had on the show a couple of months ago. I spoke to him earlier last week, and he's an
Ryan Thomas.
Ryan Thomas,
he's
right.
the guy in Portugal, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was on loan,
player.
and then apparently he's back, and he's doing quite well back at his parent club now.
Yeah, well, he's one of Declan's boys. Declan. He came up through the system with the Waikato with Declan, and he got.
I think that's awesome that he's. I mean, the Portuguese league is, that's a serious league.
Great football. Great football.
Yeah, no, that's it's not like it's bloody the A-League, is it? No.
What are you trying to say? Hey,
Perth did all right the other day against Chelsea, didn't they? Really? They almost got absolutely rolled in their first half, but they sort of got back and then almost scored an equaliser late.
Yeah, well...
If they had a decent striker, they might have.
Anyway, thank you, people. Do you want to say goodnight for us, mate? And I'll finish up, and everyone will be listening to our show next week, I'm sure.
Yeah, more Blur. I'm going to bring... No, I know. Next week we can listen to some Norwegian black metal.
Yeah, no chance.
Bit of Dimmu.